Ooh, we're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. And we're talking about the Portland Trailblazers and how they can potentially save themselves from themselves. Because at this point, watching games, it is really disappointing to just see your team lose. Look, let's be real. There's no chance that the Blazers will get in any sort of play-in, playoff situation. This is the year that they just absolutely destroyed themselves. We are, I believe, second to last in our respective uh, side of the country. With that being said, I believe that there is a lot of potential in the draft to address the shortfalls that the Portland Trailblazers have. Now, aside from having drafted Scoot the year before, Shaden, like those are two players that at this point, as I'm looking at the roster, I would love to keep on a roster now until forever. Same with Anthony. DA, I think was a good addition. Hasn't really paid off in a way that we wanted to. However, I think that is due to the roster construction and everything else that we have going on. Grant Williams would have been a good addition if he didn't get injured. However, that happens. Michael Brogdon or Malcolm Brogdon, 25 points a game, bringing in 16 points a game or 25 minutes a game, 16 points a game, 4 rebounds. Like that dude deserves to have a roster spot. If not with us, then he's going to land somewhere else. So, of note, the players that are really putting forth the effort on the scoreboard. You have Ant, who is at 23, Grant at 22, DA 15, 16-ish, Scoot 13 off the bench, sometimes starting with 15 minutes on average. And you have Shaden at 16 with 25 points on average. Do we have anybody who can actually distribute the ball? Not so much. Malcolm Brogdon is like the closest one that we have that really distributes the ball. Sometimes he starts, sometimes he doesn't. And when he is on the court, he's able to get it out at an average of 6 assists a game. And blocks, we suck. We have a bunch of guys who average like point something. Not, I think the one that's a solid one, if that, um, nobody. I think there's one guy who's a center that doesn't like come to mind. But what I'm getting at is like we have a lot of pieces that doesn't make a whole. And what we need is some sort of presence in the middle, the block to really control the flow of the game. It can help us slow it down, give us consistent appearances, either one at the free throw line or two, at least a higher percentage shot from that post position. We don't have that. EA tries, Frank gets pushed around and settles for, the midi or a three. Like these are things that we can do to really put ourselves in a position if we were able to do it to be contenders. But we just don't have the personnel. So let's talk about the draft, right? Draft is coming up. We have like 4 picks in the draft coming up, which is quite a bit for the Portland Trailblazers. We've messed this up plenty of times. But I think last year we didn't mess it up. Scoot is actually a really good addition. He's going to be somebody in the future. He just needs to blossom more to be developed a little bit more with the position that he plays. Is he a one? Is he a two? We don't know. Um, if you roll tape back with Shaden, like last year, we thought like this guy's going to be the one. Not as like playing point guard. I mean, like he's going to be the guy. With him and Ant. So now that kind of like throws a wrench into the mix, thinking like who's going to be who. In my head, I was thinking at some point if we had um, EA 5, you can probably go back and forth between Grant and um, Robert Williams, going back and forth between the 4, and then put Grant at the 3, and then you can have Shaden coming off the bench to bolster the 3, Ant at the 2, and Scoot at the 1. Then put Malcolm Brogdon in there, in the mix with 1 and 2 and 3. Like that would be worth having a conversation about. But we're not there. We haven't even thought about that yet. What we need to do is focus on this draft that's coming up so we can get some pieces that's really going to help us contend against guys like the Joker, like AD. Like we don't have pieces that can contend against those guys, not in the block. Like we get pushed around all the time. So here's what I'm thinking, right? Here's what I'm thinking. We have the fifth spot. We have the fifth spot for now. Now, Kyle Filipowski, I hope I said that right. He's a 6'7" or 7 footer. He's a 7 footer at 250. He's a shot blocker. He can maneuver within the paint. He facilitates from the block. He's like a post guy. We don't have that. We kinda have that in, like, EA, but EA doesn't really play like that. He's not a guy who's gonna bang, and and if I'm not mistaken, Duke knows how to develop players, so if we get this guy from Duke at the 5th pick, it might not be a bad idea. I'm just saying, it might not be a bad idea. Now, we've had some really bad experiences drafting centers, which is why at the 13th position, we're gonna draft another center, just in case, just in case. Denver did this once upon a time when they had Nurk and they had Joker, and they said, "You know what, Joker, we recognize game, we're gonna start him," and he was drafted from the 2nd day, not the 1st day. So think about that, like, let's just keep going with the centerpiece, let's see what happens. So if we're at the 13th position and we're looking at Cincinnati's, um Donovan Clennon, 7'3", 280 pounds, and he can move in the space that he claims. This guy will give us a presence in the block to really contest against Joker, AD, and if we make it to the point where we beat those guys, you would have to contend against Embiid and Giannis. Like, this would be a physical presence in the middle that would give us the space claim that we've been needing all this time for a better part of a decade. Now, think about that. Now, if you have AD and you have Donovan, you can put AD at the 4. There's nothing wrong with that. Put him at the 4, put Donovan at the 5. That physical presence between those 2 men, that'll make it real tough for somebody to jump in the middle, and if you really wanna get foggy, put Grant at the 3, right? Grant at the 3 can help slow down that penetration, so by the time they get into the block, like, that momentum has slowed down. Do it at the 1, or maybe Anthony at the 1, and then you can add at the 2, or you have Jaden at the 2. Either way, that gives you more flexibility because now you have a sure thing at the bottom that can help you bolster the roster. You can stop things now. You can hinder players from going into that space. Now, I'm thinking like, yeah, but what happens if they get in foul trouble? That's cool. You got Michael Williams who can come in. Still have EA who can go like, there's other centerpieces that can be subbed in. Now check this out, right? Check this out. This is gonna get crazy. That's 2 centers, right? 2 centers. I'm saying F the script. Look, Portland Trail Blazers, get off the bandwagon of trying to draft, like, who looks good on paper and just go with your gut. And I'm saying Zach Edey, right? Zach Edey from Purdue. In my gut, he's telling me at at 7'4", 300 pounds, who knows how to maneuver in space, he's gonna give you something consistent down there. He's gonna be the guy that's gonna be able to clog up that choo-choo train that comes down. It's gonna make players think twice about going into that position. It really is gonna be that physical presence that we've not had since Arvydas Sabonis. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a long ways away, but since Arvydas Sabonis, we have not had that physical presence. I think Zach will be able to deliver. Now look, that is 3 centers, right? Zach, 7'4", 300 pounds, doesn't move like a gazelle, more like a tank. But I mean, think about this. Zach, in his later years at the Lakers, 300 pounds, 7'1", didn't move like he used to when he was with Magic in his earlier years, and he was dominating. He put fear into the opposing players. I'm not saying Zach is in that same conversation, but has the physical stature that could be developed into something like that. Then you go to Donovan, 7'3", 280. You can do the same exact thing. And then you go above and beyond because now you got 3 guys that you drafted. One of them has to turn out to be okay. If not okay, one of them has to turn out to be great. And I think that's the one thing that this draft we need to do is we need to get a sure thing. This is how you get the sure thing. Say F the script. 3 centers today, 3 centers today, or rather today, the next day during the draft process. This is gonna be what the thing that we do. I'm thinking Zach Indy is probably gonna, like, climb up in the charts after or during perhaps March Madness when they really see, like, how much this guy can change the landscape of the court, how much he can determine how quickly or how slow the game can be processed and how quickly the ball can get down for, like, this is the thing that Zach is gonna be able to do. If you look at Donovan, same exact thing, same with Clay or, Tyler. Like, there's a lot of things going on with these 3 centers that I think if the Blazers were to draft all 3, one of them has to turn out to be great. That's what Denver did. They ended up drafting another center on top of the center that they had. They had Nurk, and then they drafted Joker, and look how that turned out, right? Anyways, this is the thing that we can do. I'm not asking for much for the Trailblazers organization. I'm just saying, look, at some point, you have to gamble, right? You have to gamble and just go with your gut feeling, and I think this is something that we can do. Get all 3. One of them has to turn out to be good, and if 2 of them flop, we get 1/3 one who is gonna be like, out of the 3, one of them turns out great, that's a freaking win. That is a win. Now we have actually 4 draft picks, and I think that at this point, like, there's no need to address the center, so just trade that one away, wait till next year where we can, like, get a better understanding of what the roster looks like, and we can also use that piece, that draft pick at the 39th position from Atlanta, we can use that as a bargaining tool at some point to go get another draft pick from next year, and then during the season, if we need to do an in-season, like, rigmarole to get somebody off the roster and go get this piece, like, that is something that we can use in addition. So, there's a lot of things that we can do at this point to really make this thing work. I can't really move that Atlanta pick during the offseason until the draft, but that's something that, wait till then. Anyways, like I said, to fix the roster, you just gotta go with your gut. Go get the 3 centers. One of them has to turn out to be okay. I think I'm, like, smoking that smoke. I'm not right now, not till April 1st, but that's another story. Anyways, that's me signing off. That's how we can fix the Portland Trail Blazers.